and welcome. Welcome again into the television version of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan, and I'm delighted that you've tuned in, joined with me today here on Strategies. Of course, Strategies for Living, well, we're all about helping us live healthier, happier, more peaceful lives in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, in our relationships here in the 21st century. And we do that by engaging in important conversations with folks we like to call life strategists. Each and every time we do Strategies for Living, and one of my very favorite life strategists is with me today. He is Alan English. Congratulations, you are the president and the publisher of the Shreveport Times.
Well, thank you, David.
Last time you were here, you were executive editor and now president and publisher.
Thank you.
Good job, Alan.
Well, the team really pulled together and did a lot of great things this past year, I think, putting me in that position more than anything.
I'm excited about what I see in the product of the Times. I guess you could say the Times, it is a change-in, right? They are a change-in, and I think in a very positive way. What's going on? 2014, the last time you were here on this show, you were talking about positioning, you were talking about the changing going on at the Times and the transition period. A lot has happened in 2014. Kind of give us a thumbnail summary of where we are now.
Well, we spent 2014 making sure we're going to be able to deliver better results for all of our customers. And we went through every piece of our portfolio, making enhancements, looking at customer service and trying to address that. And the biggest thing we looked at was making the experience for our longtime customers, the longest, the readers, the best it could possibly be. And so we went through shifts of where content were. We used research to decide just how much energy to put into different parts of our coverage.
Right.
And we built a strategy and staffing behind that. And the results are in that we've had a pretty good year of shoring up our base.
The Times is such an important part of our community. Many, many, many people, especially our older viewers, think about the Times as going out, getting the paper from their front yard, coming in with their cup of coffee and reading their paper, or going to the newsstand, right? Or your corner grocery store, buying your cup of coffee and your Times. But times are changing. Digital, mobile, social media, all of that is very, very important in this transition, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We had to get ourselves into a position of strength, which is what 2014 was about. I mean, 2012 and 13, our readers weren't getting their papers on time. They weren't as high quality. We had to work on the press. We had to make sure the content itself was improved.
Right.
Because as we go more digital, we have to be able to engage and have results for that.
When you say digital, what does that entail, Alan?
Well, it's everything about making sure we get results for our customers, our advertisers, but making sure we deliver content and an experience in a way, whether it's mobile, desktop, or social media, whatever that platform is, that you're getting what you're expecting, if not more.
I love to be able to pull up the Times on my iPad now and read it on my iPad. It's especially important when I'm out of town, and I can still keep up with what's going on, get the full printed version, and also the website version, right?
Yeah,
and those are different, aren't they?
They are. We work to make sure the experiences match what the behaviors are. An example on the iPad, everybody's a little bit different,
right,
but a majority of people are accessing their iPad in the later afternoons and evenings as a second or third device while they're going through their evening habits.
Right.
While mobile is really high during the day. And then the traffic on desktop, which I'll be real, I mean, we're seeing across the country fewer and fewer people spending time sitting at a desktop computer to read their news. The mix is pretty great. Last year, one of the biggest changes we made, we rolled out a whole new set of digital products, apps, new mobile website, a new desktop as well, because that's strong as well. We saw the number of page views, which were in the few 100,000 on mobile, go to millions.
Wow.
In a very short period of time. And so that little piece was about making it an experience that worked.
Wow.
So you would return, you'd go ahead and log in, and now what's really a nice treat is if you're a subscriber, obviously you get access to all of these on any device, and people have learned once they log in on their mobile device, it pretty much leaves them logged in, so they don't have to think about that anymore. On desktop, it's not as smooth, but mobile, we've got that down.
You're a journalist through and through. You and I have visited on a number of occasions. In fact, we had a chance to visit after the last time you were here. And one of the impressive things about you, to me, Alan, is that you chose to come back to Shreveport. You and your wife chose to make Shreveport your home. You've been in journalism a long time. Where'd you begin your career?
Knoxville Journal.
Knoxville Journal.
I was a photographer for the Knoxville Journal.
How long have you been in journalism total?
Got probably about 27 years, maybe heading to right around there somewhere.
And came to Shreveport the first time in
2000
as the
managing editor
of the Times. And I recall hosting you on the radio show back in the day when we still had Tell the Times. Remember that?
Sure.
Our
longtime folks remember that, but not many others.
Not many others, but you were in the process of transitioning that and making changes. You were here for how many years?
About 9.
9 years. Went on to bigger and better things, but came back, chose to come back. Tell us why.
For family. Getting the job at the Times was really exciting, but really we moved my family back before I had a job back in Shreveport.
You wanted to live in Shreveport.
Yeah, we were like, we need to figure this out.
Wow.
And the strategy came is when my wife and I think this is really good for as many people who can do this, we walk together at least a few times a week, if not every night in a week, with our dog, and we talk about the day and what's going on. And I could just tell when we were in Georgia, it was not syncing for her and the family. You could see some of the things not going as well.
Right.
And we'd pulled her out of her job at Montessori School for Shreveport as a teacher, and that was, she was starting to build, a new career there. And so we moved at a time when the economy was really down. There weren't that many teaching jobs in Georgia, and so we didn't really connect in. It was one of those moves. A lot of moves. We moved, and things just worked. This time it didn't.
Sometimes it didn't. Yeah.
And so we recognized that. Said, if you can get your old job back, honey, we'll figure it out on one of her trips. And sure enough, when she came back, they were really welcoming. They wanted her back as quick as they could have her. And I said, well, let's carpe diem, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You just got to have confidence that you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I commuted for about 2 years, and then I was lucky enough to get a job in Conway, Arkansas. And
just up the road a bit?
Just up the road 3 hours, and I commuted for another year there. And as fortune would have it, just trying to get to know the publisher of the Times, just to have a connection. Timing just turned out that they had an opportunity for me to come be the executive editor and the general manager, I guess, a little over a year and a half ago now.
Right. And then the rest is history now.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What was your thought when you heard, I'm going to be publisher of the Times? Because if you're in journalism, that's the place you want to be. Right?
I really didn't think about it. I didn't start my career in journalism thinking I wanted to be an editor.
Right.
It was just telling stories and helping the community. And the thing that gets me up in the day is not, I'm the publisher. It's like, what can we do today to help people?
What stories can we tell?
Yeah. I remember those moments taking a photograph at one of the newspapers, and donations poured in for these children that were being, there was a big building being demolished, and they were living inside of it, and we revealed all the pieces of what was going on.
Oh, wow.
And I was just lucky enough to take a photograph and tell along with the story where you saw community in action. And what we do with the support of readers and advertisers, we bring audiences together for results, to have an action.
How is modern newspaper and digital, mobile, all that goes with that, different from television, radio, the other media that are available? How do we distinguish the various media today? Is there more of a blurring today than there ever has been, or is there still distinction between these media?
Well, I think people are deciding for themselves which forms they find easiest to use to get credible information. And in the past few years, there's been a sorting out, if you will, of different ventures that have become more credible or less credible. And so what's different now for all media is we have data that we've never had before about what you're reading, what you're interested in. We're engaging in real time with sources where you can watch us interact with that source on Twitter, or maybe you can watch a live video or whatever it is.
Right.
It just becomes so much more engaged with the local community and with news. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, because you're kind of asking about, what's different for these companies. I think all of them are getting into the game of having an integrated solution to making sure we can deliver on our promise. And no one means, that's what's different, no one means anymore is the singular focus.
What sets the Times now apart? What's the key that really sets the Times apart? Because to me, the Times have changed, like we said earlier, but in a very positive way. What sets the Times apart in your mind?
We're working on all fronts to be as connected to the community as possible, to be listening for what's the most important or key piece of information, and to be on the stories that really matter, not just the ambulance running down the road for the day.
Right.
We're investigating and analyzing the news throughout the week, live for you online, and then in another considered way, we're developing that story into something you can sit down and really have an in-depth analysis of what's going on.
Very interesting story as an example yesterday. The Sunday Times, the headline piece. Very, very interesting, in-depth look. Talk a little bit about it.
Well, it's about investing in a story that has that you sense that there's something important for the community to digest. And Glenn Ford, on death row.
At Angola.
Yeah, and wrongfully convicted.
Right.
Working through the pieces of life.
Putting his life back together.
Right, here's the difference. You can get on the phone and do that story.
You can see it on TV in a 15, 20-second
Right.
clip, but the Times, and that's my point.
Yeah, well, Vicki,
What a story that
they
was.
got into the car and drove down to see him in New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's about decisions that we'll make to invest in a story and tell it out like nobody else can.
Wow.
That's how you distinguish yourself. And other media do that too, selectively.
Right.
And what makes us different is we are using all the data we get and all the input from social media to both develop questions as well as decide, is this worth the investment?
And then you can give it to us, the readers and consumers, in some depth that I don't think any other media is doing.
I appreciate that. I do see it out there. You just don't see it as often.
Right.
There's been a significant sea change in terms of the business model for a lot of companies, not just newspapers.
Right.
And so we are fast moving into 2015, having learned a lot about those behaviors and learning about that data and how we're going to succeed in the next year.
We've got to take a break, Alan, but I want to come back from break, and I know that a major part of 2014, you've already mentioned it, was the readership study, the stabilization of readership. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about that. Can we do that? And also want to talk about the products. There's one called Voices that I really want to talk about when we come back.
Good.
Can we do that?
Thank you, David.
All right, Alan English, president and publisher of the Shreveport Times. He's our life strategist today. We've got a lot more to learn from Alan. Stay with us. More strategies for living to come.
Odds of becoming an astronaut, 1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love. For our future.
If you don't like the odds,
Stand up. Stand up to cancer.
I teach a wide variety of things, including film editing, directing, documentary making, lighting. I fell in love with art as a young child, and it's just always something that has stuck with me.
You know, I love the whole process of going on set, going back into the editing room, telling a story. That's what I really love about film.
I got laid off from my job, and I figured this was the perfect opportunity to go to school to get a degree for it.
As a kid, I was really into geeky stuff. I couldn't think of anything else that I would rather do.
They really provide you with the equipment and you know, the necessary tools in order to, you know, advance in a career, especially in communications field.
Well, one thing that really drew me to video production especially is it's just a way to reach people. And as someone who likes to communicate with other people, I felt that mass communication, especially broadcasting, was a tool that I could use.
You get some hands-on experience. They've got good stuff to work with. They really know what they're doing, and they're willing to pass it on.
When our students leave Bossier Parish Community College, they are equipped to get a job immediately, or they can move on to a 4-year degree.
It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do!
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
Come on! You can do it!
Only you can prevent wildfires.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Welcome back into the television version of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. You are watching Strategies for Living right now, but don't forget you can listen and you can read Strategies for Living. You can listen to us where we've been for 20 plus years. News Radio 710 Keel, Sunday mornings between 9:05 and 10. Also at strategiesforliving.com, you can read Strategies for Living, Alan English, at Voices on Wednesdays in the Shreveport Times.
Yeah, and on ShreveportTimes.com.
And on ShreveportTimes.com too.
And on Facebook, when you post it on Facebook or wherever, yeah.
There you go. And our life strategist today, folks, is the president and publisher of the Shreveport Times, Mr. Alan English. We're delighted to have you as our life strategist today. Big readership study.
Yep.
Back in 2014. Took a lot of the year, put a lot of resources into that. 144,000 people every week.
Adults, yes.
Adults reached by the time. That's 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we're getting up to 2 out of 3 in the market in a given week through our different products.
Wow. Okay, tell us a little bit about the readership study, why you launched it, what it really meant, what came out of all of it.
Well, here's the news behind a readership study. We do them about every 3 years, and they have the same questions along with some additional questions.
What kind of questions?
Well, it would be it starts off with some straightforward stuff like, did you read us yesterday?
Right.
What other media did you look at for these stories? It would ask some questions about the topics and the information you're getting. They would ask questions about, do you feel we're more connected to the community than we were? Do you know our staff better than you used to? Those kinds of questions would extrapolate out some data points for what kind of readership there is. Then we would ask about your readership in general of just news with some blind questions and come up with what we call an aggregated reach. Somebody might actually be reading Voices, for example, and not realize they're reading a Times product.
Yes, because Voices gets distributed beyond the Times,
yes,
right?
Yep. About 70,000 copies of the Voices product are out in the marketplace every week.
Okay.
And
some get thrown to individual homes?
They're not all read, but some of them are read by some single editions are read by more than one person. An example is when you aggregate the number of people reading either Shreveport and Bossier Voices, well, 50,000 of those 70,000 actually get picked up or people reference them.
And the Voices is tailored to each local geographic area, right? There's a Bossier edition.
Yep, and a Shreveport edition.
A Shreveport edition.
And they're in the daily product too, so there's a lot of overlap readership too. The people that read the Times and read Voices and read Red River Moms. Some people who read only ShreveportTimes.com. And then you have your Sunday readers, and just you map it out through a 7-day readership, so that you collect, well, how many folks do we reach? Okay, that's where we get the 2 out of 3 number. And then, what's really great news though is out of those 7 days, most people read us 4 to 5 times in a frequency in a given week. So we're not only reaching that many people, of those, there are different age brackets and different demographics and geographies that read us more or less. And we're able to look into that and say, where's our greatest readership? Where do we need to work on? Where maybe that's not a place where there's a particular advertising base, or maybe there is one where there's a sweet spot. And we develop strategies behind that data to make sure our advertisers get results.
That's why your advertising is still fantastic. That's why you're successful in advertising. You just mentioned reach.
Well, the past
and
year,
frequency.
yeah, we like I said, we shored up the base. We had some issues. We were not as great of an experience and weren't delivering as good of results as we could
maybe
be.
You traditionally did in the past.
And now we're back on the game, and a lot of businesses are finding that our strategies are working for them. We have testimonials from people that range from Chevyland to some nonprofits who do some fundraising, just seeing that we do an integrated marketing plan. I'm talking digital, print, and targeted results to make sure they get a return on their investment. And then we work with them to show them the data and have them show us that, yes, indeed, it more than paid for itself. We moved that many trucks. We got this many donations. It happened.
Everything in good shape now with the press? I know
We're very close.
You mentioned some issues.
Yeah. We had some surprises.
There were the Times a few years ago made a $6.5 million investment.
$14 million investment.
All total, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
there was the press and then the building.
The press and the building. So major investment in our community. But it took a while, but it is paying off now.
It is, well, yes, and as I think I said before, it was basically a little bit of a lemon installation. It was installed at a time when the economy was really at its, and it was done on as much of a budget that was available.
Right.
And so now we're paying the piper, and we've spent another $2.4 million this past year fixing issues. People who had trouble with delivery and printing in 2013, they're not all the issues are not gone, but they certainly had a better year in 2014 by a large margin.
Absolutely.
And the next year better. So that money, we're at March is when the last software installation piece occurs, where we'll gain controls over the individual laydown of the ink and some special settings and some signals to when the press isn't running just right that we'll know ahead of time.
Already the product itself looks wonderful, especially when you compare it to the old big newspaper. It looks wonderful, Alan. So keep up the good work.
We're working on every piece.
There's a launch of a new brand that's coming up. Times Media. Talk to us about that. What does that mean?
Times Media, yeah, that's our company umbrella. People do think of us as a newspaper, but we are so much more now.
You are a media company. You've transitioned into a media company.
Our business model means, and in a good way, the newspaper is just one of many things that we do.
Right.
We deliver results for our customers and we deliver results for our audience with different products and in different ways. So an example is, people may not realize, we provide complete digital marketing services which range from being able to target advertisers that have nothing to do with hanging an ad on ShreveportTimes.com.
Right.
We can find individuals in the community.
If I'm a business and I want targeted results, I can call you and you can help me target
Absolutely.
a specific audience, even down to a narrow demographic. Right?
Sure, we'll do layered data. Let's use automotive, for example.
Okay.
All right, so there's a certain number of trucks in the market. There's a certain number of trucks owned by my audience. That data is available. When you register your car, when you put any insurance, all those pieces are available. Lay that across community behaviors, lay that across household income, lay that across my subscriber base. Before you know it, I can tell you, and this has already been found, 25% of the market that are subscribers are likely to buy a car or truck in the next year. Well, the national average, if you just do mass marketing, is about 11.6 to 13.
So you're stacking the deck.
And we can make sure we're hitting people who have cars that have, maybe they have 10 years of age on them.
Right.
And we're saturating that information for people who are most likely to buy a car through targeted digital advertising, through a media mix with print. And when you build out a plan, we get you the results that way.
So digital management services, digital advertising.
Yeah,
We've already
websites.
mentioned voices.
Yep, get your Google results up, and that's not even a newspaper product, so we can do that.
Right. And then there's Red River Moms. Talk a little bit about Red River Moms. That's a specific product.
Yeah, it's a magazine that's success is built around really knowing the data in our community. We're a much more family and faith-oriented community than some others.
Yes.
And a product that helps men and women, but particularly moms, get information about early childhood years as well as the mid-years, being able to get calendar information and advice and details in a compact way, delivers results very specifically to a particular audience.
There are some exciting things going on at Times Media. And can you give us any clue as to what the rest of 2015 holds? It all sounds good. It all sounds like it's good stuff.
New experiences.
New experiences.
Right. You may have seen Get Fit Times. It's a new page inside the sports section. Well, it's going to evolve into something much bigger for your Sunday experience on health and other topics near and dear to people's wellness. So we expect that to help enhance both the experience you have as a reader, but also digitally online. We have a couple other things in the works I really can't get into, but I will say this. There are going to be some events and some activities that the Times is going to be behind that are going to give the community access, direct access to experiences and information, because the future for journalism and for our company is not just about the experience with us in print. It's about helping the community experience information in new ways that they can get it.
Cannot wait to see what the rest of 2015 and beyond holds for Times Media. Alan English, again, congratulations on becoming president and publisher of the Times. You know you've got a seat anytime you want right here on Strategies for Living. And,
thank you.
I hope you'll be back soon with us to catch us up, because I know that we just all better hold on, because the Times is changing.
Oh, we're out there rocking.
The Times are changing, and the Times is changing right along with us. So
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. And don't you forget, you can find us in every Wednesday's Shreveport Times Voices in the Relationship Strategies for Living column. You can find us at News Radio 710 Keel Sunday mornings between 9:05 and 10, and also at www.strategiesforliving.com. Next time, we'll have another interesting life strategist for you. We thank Alan English for being our life strategist today. And until next time, I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. See you again here on Strategies for Living. Good day.